As you know from my last video, I went up to Party in the Paddock for 4 days shooting live music for the entire time, and it was huge. And it was a whole range of music from like a little bit folky all the way through to hardcore metal, everything in between. A lot of pop, a lot of just really cool vibes. It was such a buzz, and I'm still running on that energy. It is amazing. And now today, I'm at another festival, but it's much more intimate. It's like 500 people, give or take, instead of the 15,000 at Party in the Paddock. There's a really small stage, there's stalls and presentations and everything, all within literally 30 seconds of walking. But I wanted to talk today about some of the things I've learned from shooting, particularly Party in the Paddock. I think they're lessons that you can apply across all festivals. In general, not counting this one, festivals are huge. Like the distances that you've got to travel, the number of acts that are on, you know, there's always something happening. And while there's a country and western band playing, a lot of people don't like that kind of music, so they need something else to keep their attention instead of getting bored, because that will then reflect on the festival at large. So not only do we have someone on stage doing country and western, we might have to have someone on stage doing hip hop, for example, or there might be some craft things or a comedy routine or just something else. And those sort of situations make it really difficult as a photographer, because you actually have to decide what it is that you're going to focus on. And this could be for anything. It doesn't necessarily mean photography. It could be shooting video, it could be covering for an article somewhere. And even just as a festival goer, you need to pick out the moments that matter. After all, what are you here for? Every interaction that you have with my videos is so important to my channel. So please do edit all of those things, tell your friends, share it around. Even if you're laughing at me, that's cool too. I just need YouTube to see that it's a really cool channel to spread around. Shooting for 11 or 12 hours is just not feasible. The best thing you can do is take a moment where maybe there's not something going on that you're really keen on. Just get away from everything, sit in the shade, find a tent, maybe even go back to your car, just chill out for half an hour to an hour. I found shooting like the big festivals, if I'm going full tilt all the time, I run out of energy and I end up missing some of the big things because my whole system just says no more. If you can pick a moment to recharge, it means that when those big events come on, you're ready to go again. Now, if you're at a festival and you really want to cover everything, you need to pick the highlights, and sometimes that means just doing one, maybe two songs before hightailing it down to the next stage. Most people reading or looking at the photos, they don't know what happened. And so when you shoot some highlights and you get some really cool shots, or you've witnessed something that would make a really good paragraph, that's all the reader or viewer really cares about, because it's all part of the entire experience. And you've just taken little chunks out and strung them all together to make this big story. And it's the big story that matters. And if you miss something, it doesn't matter, because nobody's going to know except for you and the people that actually witnessed the thing that you missed out on. And part of the joy of what you produce is that it comes from you. It's all based on your experience. And that's really what people want to see, hear, or read. Getting hold of that schedule before the festival starts gives you a chance to see who you know, who you don't know. And it's those people that you don't know that make it even more exciting. I will spend a couple of hours going over that schedule, I'll get out the map of the festival and I'll draw lines. I'll be looking at who's playing when and seeing if I can race down to the next one and see what the gaps are between. Sometimes two acts start at exactly the same time, which is what happened in the last festival I did, and they were both amazing acts. So if you can manage to do 2 or 3 or 4 songs of one and then race down and catch the end of the set of the other, then that actually works really well, and you won't know to do that without having a plan to begin with. One thing that you might not be aware of is just because you haven't heard of someone doesn't mean they don't have a big following. And I tell you this from the heart, ignore them at your peril. You will be surprised at just what those acts have that you might actually enjoy, or that your viewers or listeners or readers might also enjoy. Now this one I cannot stress enough. Don't be a loner. Photographers that come to festivals, and there are many photographers and they've come from all kinds of publications all over the country, and they have knowledge of acts that have come from their part of the world, and they have their own favourites, they have their own styles, and when someone tells you, you have to check this band out, you have to check this band out. I have some new favourite bands because of the other photographers that told me what their favourite bands were that were playing. Even the ones that you might not like the particular style of music for, there is something about them that makes it a joy to photograph. Another thing about other photographers is that they have some styles and techniques and tips and tricks that you might not be aware of yet. If you get to know 1 or 2 or 3 of the photographers, just look over their shoulder and see what they're doing. At Party in the Paddock, one of the first photographers I met was Jess Gunn. She carries around a card reader and a printer. And so when people come up and ask her for her photos, as they always do, she takes a picture, pulls a card out, plugs it into her phone, edits it on the spot and prints it out, and within 3 or 4 minutes, those people that asked her for a photo have an actual photo in her hand with her name on the back. And that is marketing gold. They will tell everybody. She also sends them the picture. They'll share it on their socials. They've got the picture in their hand to remember the good times. They'll probably put it on the fridge. They'll tell everybody, Jess Gunn is a gun. I can't stress nearly enough just how good that is. Yes, this is a job, and you may or may not get paid for this job, but the job is to get images up, to promote yourself or promote the magazine that you're working for. But it's not all work. Enjoy yourself. You're at a festival shooting live music because you love live music in festivals. Don't forget to take a moment to just drop everything and sit back and listen. On the last night, it was such a good lineup. We had Baker Boy, 3%, Big Noter and Red Hook. And the Big Noter was powerful. It was Adam Briggs, incredibly powerful, motivating, positive. And one of my new photographer friends was shooting the same act, and he was loving it, and he was standing there with his camera in his hand, and I've got a picture and I'll put it up now, but he was like, am I shooting? Am I enjoying it? And the next thing you know, he drops his gear, jumps the fence and gets into the mosh pit. It was gold. I laughed my ass off, but it was so fun and such a joy, because that's what you're there for. You don't have to spend an entire set taking photos. You just need to pick out the moments, but enjoy it. And certainly when Baker Boy was on earlier in the day, I got the shots I needed. I put my gear in the media tent and I went out into the crowd and just enjoyed myself. It is such a joy and pleasure to be able to do that. I've obviously shot live gigs before, and I've shot events I shoot gymnastics over a couple of days, 2 or 3 times a year. I used to shoot football all the time. The same rules apply. It's not just festivals, but I'm particularly focused on festivals today because there's so much going on. Take those lessons as you will, apply them or ignore them. I'd really just hope that you got something out of it, because those lessons are really key to me. And that's why when there's stuff going on in the festival behind me, I'm here shooting this video, because I want you to know that it's okay. You don't have to be there all the time. You don't have to watch all the time. If you don't take the moment to look and experience and feel, your work will only be half as good as if you do those things. So just chill out, wander, enjoy the experience, and maybe take some photos, and you'll find that those photos will be so much better. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one last tip. Cut back on the gear. You really don't need it all. I always bring so much gear, but 2 cameras is plenty, and a lot of people just stick with one. But I do like my long lens to get close up on stage, and a nice zoom lens that gets me wide and close when I need it. And I will see you on the next one.